Right.
I remember as a small child, Grammy used to play with me in certain ways, probably inappropriate, so my counselor says. Funny thing is, though, I've been talking to my counselor about certain things that went on as a child when I was 5 and things my Grammy did. But I know she loved me because loving hands they wouldn't kill you. Grammy would choke and choke and choke and choke just to the point where I'd almost die but not die all the way. That is love. That's how I knew Grammy loved me. Because if she'd gone the whole way, that would have been murder, and that's a murderer. That's not love. I looked up the definition of love in the dictionary, so I know these things. I know Grammy loved me. We used to, just smoking the cigarette reminds me of her because, even though she's been gone for 10 years now, now and again when I light a cigarette it reminds me of her big time, and it's actually the closest we can get, because if I could only just, ow, 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 when I burn myself with this cigarette, it reminds me when Grammy burned me too. And then it's like me and Grammy are hanging out again. I miss you, Grammy. Just a second. Just a second, Gretchen. Gretchen, Grammy. Gretchen and Grammy are back together again. Ow, ow, okay, Grammy. I know Grammy loved me. Something I didn't tell my counselor is all these cuts and burns and marks and burns she left all over my body. At night, I rub my hands over it, almost like a blind kid rubs his hands over Braille, and all the brazen wounds and cuts. I rub them, and I read the love story that Grammy left on my body. Grammy, Gretchen's home! No, Grammy. Yes. No. Yes. Can't decide. Strangle, revive. I don't know if I want little Gretchen to live or die. That's what Grammy used to sing to me as a child. When I get in trouble, though, that wasn't fun, because Grammy'd make me wear her soiled underwear as punishment. And I thought when she was asleep she wouldn't know, but she'd make me at night take the soiled underwear I'd wear all day for punishment. She'd make me use it as a pillowcase, and I'd start crying in the pillow and then start smelling like wet dog and stuff, because when I get the soiled underwear all wet and stuff, it'd bring up all those smells of Grammy's underwear. One of my favorite games me and Grammy used to play, though, was a game called Piss Bag, where we wait for Grampy to fall asleep, and we cut Grampy's catheter bag and spray it all over ourselves like a fountain, and make out while I wore Grammy's teeth, because Grammy used to make me wear her teeth. It's hard for a 5-year-old to wear a big person's teeth pressed in and breastfeed. I'd have little cuts from where she rammed the teeth into my little mouth, and I'd be like, Grammy? Plus, something I wanted to say about love big time, about my Grammy's love, is that at night when I rub my hands over all those cuts and bruises and read the love letters she left, that I was her true love. Now I know, even though I was born in prison because my mom was raped by prison guards and stuff, that's fine. And Grammy always said, "You're a prison child. You amount to nothing. You're nothing but a prison child." Because Grammy used to make me, ever since when I was 5, she knitted me a sweater that said prison child on it. I wore that sweater till I was like 16 and shit. I love that sweater. My Grammy never called me by my real name. My real name she called me was Gretchen. I was Grammy's little Gretchen. I sure do miss her, but when I smoke the cigarette and burn myself with her and put fresh burns on myself, it's almost like we're together again. The smoke that I'm breathing in, it's like Grammy's smoke. This hot, burning cherry that I burned myself with. It's Grammy's. I love you, Grammy. Night, Grammy. Grammy.